Rexy, the one that started everything. Isla Nublar, 1993. When Chaos first walked on two legs, 13.5 meters of nightmare, walked out of a storm, ate a goat, and launched Spielberg's career. She wasn't the biggest T-Rex in the franchise. She was just the first. And first impressions don't get more catastrophic than a Land Cruiser getting sat on as audiences screamed. But here's what the movies always skipped. Rexy wasn't aggressive. She was territorial. Every human she hunted was either in her paddock, blood triggering her predator instincts, or in her path. Remove the humans from the equation. She was simply patrolling. What made her terrifying wasn't the killing, it was the indifference. To her, the humans were furniture that occasionally ran, like chairs she could crush without thinking. She survived 2 islands, a volcanic eruption, and a continent-level ecosystem collapse. In 2022, 30 years after Jurassic Park, she was still alive in the Biosyn Valley. Not the strongest, but the most adaptable. Evolution spent 66 million years building that blueprint. InGen just pressed print. Buck, The Father, The Lost World, 1997. The male T-Rex that redefined the franchise. A male Tyrannosaurus from Isla Sorna who proved these animals could parent, changing the franchise's middle story. InGen's hunters took his son. He didn't roar and charge. He tracked them silently. Malcolm didn't hear him until the last second. That's not rage. That's patience. That's intelligence. Buck reached San Diego after being loaded onto a freighter, freed himself, and caused enough destruction to burn 8 city blocks of property before being lured back aboard. The bait InGen used? His son. He followed Junior directly back onto the ship without hesitation. A 6-ton predator with a 30-year-old city to ransack, and he walked away from it for a juvenile dinosaur. In Jurassic World Dominion, Buck reappears in the Biosyn Valley, still massive, still paired with the doe. Same animal, older scars, still the most quietly dangerous T-Rex in the franchise. Doe, the one everyone forgets, which is the franchise's worst mistake. Buck's mate, Junior's mother, Isla Sorna, 1997. She was built from lighter aluminum than Buck's animatronic because the production team assumed she'd get less screen time. She did, and she still managed to push 2 fully loaded trailers off a cliff, tear apart an SUV with her jaw, and track a human scent trail across dark terrain in complete silence. Where Buck was the visible threat, the one audiences watched, the doe was the perimeter. Every escape route humans thought they had, she was already on it. 2 T-Rexes coordinating pressure from opposite sides isn't ambush hunting, it's strategy. The franchise would spend 3 more films trying to make dinosaurs feel intelligent. In 1997, the doe was already there. She came back in Dominion alongside Buck, still moving with the same quiet precision. The animal that nobody made merchandise of. The one that should have had her own film. Junior, the smallest T-Rex in franchise history with the highest kill count per body weight. A juvenile from the Lost World, the son Buck and Doe retrieved from InGen's camp, who closed out that film by helping his father kill a fully grown Peter Ludlow on the dock in San Diego. He was maybe a third of his parents' size, his leg fractured and set wrong by InGen hunters before the gatherers rebroke and splinted it properly. He was still recovering. He killed a man anyway. Junior represents the one element the franchise almost never touched. What T-Rex actually looked like before the 6-ton adult stage. Smaller, faster, proportionally different skull geometry, legs built for acceleration rather than endurance. The adult T-Rex is a pursuit predator built for long tracking and bone-crushing force. The juvenile was something closer to an ambush specialist, a different weapon on the same design platform. The franchise moved on from Junior after 1997. The Sorna bloodline didn't. Bull, the one who died wrong. Jurassic Park 3, 2001. A male Tyrannosaurus from Isla Sorna with brighter green coloration than either Buck or Doe, confirming he was a separate individual from that same original 7-animal InGen batch. 11.5 meters long, 8 tons, adult male in peak condition. He encountered the rescue party on Isla Sorna, pushed them briefly, and then met the Spinosaurus. What happened next? The on-screen fight with the Spinosaurus, became the franchise's most debated scene. Bull lost. He lost fast, and the argument over whether that outcome was scientifically plausible has not stopped since 2001. Here's the actual answer. It isn't. A Spinosaurus built for fish and wading doesn't outmatch a T-Rex in a direct confrontation. But the scene wasn't biology. It was branding. Universal needed Jurassic Park 3 to announce a new apex predator. Bull was sacrificed for a marketing decision. He was the first T-Rex to die on screen in the franchise. He deserved better. The Spinosaurus was retired immediately after and hasn't had a meaningful role since. Bull got the worst deal. Big Eatie, the most unusual Tyrannosaurus in the franchise. And not because of what she did, because of what she didn't do. Big Eatie, from Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, had distinctive blue-gray coloration unlike any other T-Rex in the franchise, old scarring across her body from unknown origins, and a behavioral profile that broke every assumption the films had built. Docile, not tame, not defanged. An animal that had processed her environment enough to identify non-threats and simply not engage them. She allowed a group of teenagers to exist near her repeatedly. She played with her daughter, little Eatie, in a behavior that looked like aggression from a distance and revealed itself as social bonding up close. Manticorp drugged both animals to force them into combat, weaponizing their bond for entertainment. Big Eatie survived it. What makes her remarkable isn't power. It's that she demonstrates something the franchise never allowed Rexy or Buck to show. T-Rex as a social animal, not a monster. An apex predator with relationships. That's a harder thing to animate. Camp Cretaceous did it anyway. Ember, the newest. Jurassic World Rebirth 2025. Gray and yellowish-brown coloration with black tiger stripes running from the dorsal line to the tail, a deep scar cutting through the upper lip to the bone. Listed at 12.5 meters, but framed larger to feel more imposing. Director Gareth Edwards specifically instructed ILM to build a T-Rex more imposing than the original 1993 animal. They built her from scratch with that specific brief. The result, the most visually distinct T-Rex in franchise history. Ember's scene involves a river chase, not a hunt, not territorial defense. She pursued the Delgado family's inflatable raft through a river, more fixated on the bright yellow object than on the humans themselves. Curious, impulsive, a predator, distracted by novelty. She abandoned the chase when they escaped, not defeated, just done. The franchise is 32 years old. Ember is its most recent answer to a question every entry asks differently. What does a T-Rex feel like when you see it for the first time? If you survive this T-Rex family tree, hit subscribe, drop a like, ring the bell, and tell me which Tyrannosaur you'd least want to encounter in the wild.